This is a KelTec CP33. It's a semi-automatic pistol chambered for .22 long rifle with 33 round quad stack magazines. With these accessories, it weighs about 40 ounces fully loaded. It's fun, it's flimsy, it's exactly the kind of oddity we have come to expect from the twisted minds at KelTec. Hey everybody, I am Chris Baker from LuckyGunner.com, and today I'm not actually reviewing the KelTec CP33. Instead, I am going to use this gun to tell you about the concept of the cheek pistol. Now, most people would try to shoot a gun like the CP33 as if it was a conventional pistol, or they would add a brace or a stock to it and try to shoot it like a rifle. But those are not our only options. The action extends way past the grip and gives us enough of a shelf to actually get a cheek weld like we would on a rifle stock. And then there's enough room at the front to get an overhand grip with the support hand. That leaves just enough space in the middle for a non-magnified optic. The shooting arm elbow ends up being tucked in very close to the body. You push into the cheek a little with your strong hand like that, and then you pull back a little bit with the support hand, and now you have a cheek pistol. It feels a little awkward at first. It kind of looks ridiculous. You really have to try it before it clicks. This technique provides an extremely stable shooting platform. I don't miss having a shoulder stock at all. I think it actually feels more stable than shooting a rifle from a standing unsupported position, simply because it's so lightweight and none of that weight is out in front of you. The technique even works one-handed because you still get 2 points of contact. Some of you guys might have seen the Forgotten Weapons video about this technique. I got the idea from the same guy that Matt and Ian talk about in that episode. Rhett Neumayer from Demonstrated Concepts is the tactical mad scientist behind the cheek pistol concept. I've mentioned Rhett's techniques a couple of times before, like using a cheek weld to stabilize stockless shotguns and AR-style firearms that have just a buffer tube. You can see more of his stuff on the Demonstrated Concepts YouTube channel. To say Rhett is an outside-the-box thinker would be a gross understatement. I don't always agree with his conclusions, but I think our industry needs more people like Rhett. By any standard, he is a fantastic shooter with conventional guns and techniques, and he's great at experimenting with new stuff that most of us would just never even think of trying. Well, let's take a closer look at the benefits of the cheek pistol concept. And for a minute, try to forget about this particular gun. If you don't like KelTec, imagine that it's made by some other company. And if you don't like .22, let's pretend it's a 9mm or some other cartridge. The biggest advantage to the cheek pistol is that inside about 100 yards, you get rifle-like accuracy in a package that's not much bigger than a service-sized pistol. That steel target that I'm ringing there is 63 yards away. That's a whole lot faster than I can hit it with a regular pistol. It's probably faster than I can hit it with most rifles too. I can fit this whole gun with the optic and a sling and a handful of mags in this little Maxpedition pistol case, or I can sling it and it hangs under my arm and out of the way, or behind my back. It's a lot less obtrusive than a carbine or even an SBR. With the right cartridge and setup, there is the obvious use case as a PDW for law enforcement and military. For things like clearing structures, mounting a cheek pistol gives you a more compact profile than you would have with any other type of firearm. For home defense, it's usually better to stay in place rather than try to clear your house by yourself. But if you have to move for whatever reason, there are a lot of advantages to what amounts to a handgun with the shot placement of a shoulder-fired weapon. It also could serve as a very low-profile bag gun for traveling or emergencies. A cheek pistol could probably handle a lot of pests on a farm or a ranch that you might otherwise carry around a long gun for. And if you just want to have some fun with it, a cheek pistol is an alternative to other large format pistols that really need a pistol brace or a stock to be useful. If you're interested in trying out a cheek pistol yourself, very few guns have the kind of odd shape that's required to make it work, so your options are kind of limited. In addition to the KelTec CP33, Rhett has also experimented with the 9mm TP9 pistol from B&T. That's a semi-auto variant of the old Steyr TMP submachine gun. Unfortunately, the base gun costs about $2,000, and according to Rhett, the trigger is just horrendous. There are some other platforms that might work for a cheek pistol. Rhett is still experimenting. I might even experiment with some options myself. Personally, I have not been impressed with the CP33. This particular CP33 has just not been very reliable, even by 22 standards. It's very ammo sensitive. It won't even chamber the first round in the mag most of the time. Matt Hott in the Forgotten Weapons cheek pistol video mentions some similar issues with his. That said, if you want to roll the dice and hope that you get a reliable sample like Rhett has, I can give you a couple of tips for setting it up as a cheek pistol. First, you will need a non-magnified dot optic and a mount. I recommend an extra tall mount like this 1.93 inch mount from SLR Rifle Works. This will allow for a more natural upright head position with your cheek weld. I tried it first with a shorter mount and it does work, but it's much easier to use with the tall mount. You will probably also want some kind of rail covers so that you're not mashing the bare Picatinny rail into your face. I got these soft rubber rail covers from Ergo Grips, and I just cut them down to the right length. For the muzzle, I just stuck a spare A2 flash hider on here that I had laying around. It's really just there to help keep my fingers clear of the muzzle. Now, I don't have a light on this gun, but there is an M-lock slot down here underneath the barrel if you want to mount a light. For the sling, KelTec has these tiny little metal attachment points on the back of the frame. I'm really not sure what kind of sling they are intended for. They might actually not be made for a sling at all. Either way, there is no existing rifle sling hardware that I could find that would fit through those tiny little loops, but this Peak Design camera sling does fit. People trust these slings to support thousands of dollars worth of camera and lenses that weigh a lot more than this gun does, so I expect it would hold up fine for everyday use. The cheek pistol concept is an excellent idea. It is a surprisingly effective shooting technique. I would love to see the hardware catch up to that concept. The lack of reliable gun options is really the limiting factor here. Long term, I think it could be a serious game changer, especially if someone actually made a gun designed from the ground up to be a cheek pistol. In addition to all this mad scientist stuff, Rhett Neumayer also teaches concealed handgun permit classes in the Denver, Colorado area completely for free. He does that just as a service to his community because statistically, the people most likely to need a concealed handgun are also those least likely to be able to afford it. Now, I didn't tell him I was going to do this, but if you would like to support that effort, head over to demonstratedconcepts.com and click the donation button. And if you have any allowance money left over after that, be sure to buy some ammo with lightning fast shipping from us at luckygunner.com.